Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing it today. We are finally going to talk about Blizzard, the BlizzCon that happened over this last weekend, all the announcements that are wrapped up into that, and of course the big elephant in the room that is Blizzard's apology and their decision to ban Blitzchung and those two Taiwanese casters. So without further ado, I'm Brandon, your host on another episode of The Shit You Care About. You all know that BlizzCon happened over the weekend, and they had a lot to say at BlizzCon. I honestly thought it was going to be a lot bigger of a shit show than it was. They did crowd control pretty good, even though there was like
40 or 50
people outside protesting. They started off with Mr. Jalen Brack coming out on stage, and of course they had to address the elephant in the room, which is banning Blitzchung.
You know, Blizzard had the opportunity to bring the world together in a tough Hearthstone esports moment about a month ago, and we did not.
Aww. We kind of got this sort of half-baked apology, I thought, from J. Allen Brack up there. He didn't really talk about what the situation was that they were apologizing about at all. He didn't mention China, Blitzchung, anybody or anything that had to do with the situation. They even did a little interview with Jalen Brack over on PC Gamer after the opening ceremony. He kind of mentioned that that post that everyone was freaking out, the NetEase Twitter post, kind of condemning what those Taiwanese casters did and what Blitzchung said on that live stream. They said that was a decision that NetEase made without even really talking to Blizzard, and he did mention that they probably wouldn't have allowed them to say something like that if they did ask for approval. I do feel like that's a little bit kind of pushing it under the rug, I have to admit, and that really was what this whole show felt like, is kind of like, hey guys, we make video games. Don't remember about that horrible PR incident we had. Remember that we're a video game company and we make video games and we love video games and we love you. It just felt very ham-fisted, I have to admit. A lot of the time I felt like they were kind of trying to shove that idea down your throat. That being said, that's really all there was to say about the apology, and they really just swept it right under the rug. Didn't really have much else to say about it. They really did not want you to focus on that at all. Moving on to the next thing, the Diablo 4 cinematic is fucking nuts. Holy shit.
Blessed Mother, save us.
If I didn't know I was looking at a video game, I would have totally thought that that was like actors on a screen. Well, I mean, I'm sure they did some mocap for that. The animation is beautiful, but wow. That cinematic was insane, bonkers, if you will. It was just a visual spectacle. Holy shit. It kind of reminds me of older Diablo, to be honest. It has a lot more of a gothic, Edgar Allan Poe feel, if you will. Lots of blood. The enemy design is crazy looking. They showed off a couple classes, the Barbarian, the Sorceress, and the Druid, which everyone was very stoked about. The environments look fantastic. They are creepy and dark. They really just went all out with the art direction on this. And they even kind of have some cool verticality that they showed during the gameplay trailer after the cinematic trailer. That's kind of what Blizzard does, is they'll wet your palate with a cinematic trailer that just blows your eyeballs out, and then they'll give you a little bit of gameplay and kind of ground you a little bit in what the game is going to actually be like. They had a very early demo at BlizzCon that they were showing off, and I would love to give this a shot. I'm sure at some point they'll have a beta or something like that that they'll hand out to people, and I'm going to be getting on that for sure. Looks really cool. I at least recommend checking out that cinematic trailer. It is bonkers. We had J. Allen Brack come out once again, and he kind of was calling out to like all the groups of people in each game. Like he was like Horde, and people were like yeah, and then he was like Alliance, and people were like yeah, Alliance, woo, and then he was like Legends of the Tavern. And I just got quiet for a second, and everyone was like, Do we clap for that? Wait, what do we do? This is kind of awkward. After JL and Brat came out and just kind of did that little interlude there, they went on to talk about World of Warcraft. They finally get to the new WoW announcement, which is WoW Shadowlands.
And I will set us all free.
Once again, really cool trailer. They've just gone full anime with the World of Warcraft trailers at this point. Just people throwing fucking like mountains at each other and like shadow chains coming out of nowhere. Really cool looking. It kind of ends with Sylvanas bringing up the Lich King's helmet to her face in this really sick shot where her eyeballs are glowing, and she breaks the helmet. The sky fucking opens up. And you know, all hell breaks loose pretty much. The Shadowlands is the afterlife in WoW. Apparently you're gonna be kind of playing in the afterlife, I guess. And there's gonna be new covenants to choose. So on top of also being Horde or Alliance, you will also be choosing a covenant. I believe they mentioned something about it being like life or death, something like that. And of course, pre-purchases are available today, because you gotta rake in all that pre-order money as soon as possible. And yeah, I mean, World of Warcraft. Does anyone play the normal World of Warcraft anymore? I'm sure people do. I'm probably the outlier on this one, but there you go. Shadowlands for all you WoW players out there. And last but not least, my favorite part of the show. I was waiting for the Overwatch announcement the whole time, and I like that they kind of ended the show or the opening ceremony with Overwatch. So Jeff Kaplan came out. He's easily the most personality-driven person that comes out on stage at Blizzard. He's like the most relaxed, it seems. And they showed off this real tearjerker of a little movie before they showed the Overwatch 2 cinematic trailer. Kind of a look at the last couple years of what they've been doing with the game. And oh man, cinematic trailer that they showed for Overwatch 2 is amazing. Holy crap. Of course, the spectacle once again was just insane. At the end, they fight this giant mech, and Genji comes in, and he slices the fucking thing's hand off, and then Tracer's like flipping around and gets inside and blows it up. It was awesome. Once again, just go watch all the cinematic trailers that were at BlizzCon, because they were all so cool. A visual feast for the eyes, if you will. Anyway, they moved on to the gameplay trailer after that, which kind of showed off a little bit more of what the hell Overwatch 2 is. It seems kind of like a big expansion for Overwatch 1, to be honest. I think it's weird that they're calling it Overwatch 2. Jeff Kaplan did mention that he's trying to change how we think about sequels, but it just seems like a big glorified expansion for Overwatch 1. So pretty much if you own Overwatch 1 already, all of your collectibles and your profile are going to transfer over to Overwatch 2. The PvP is the same. So you can keep playing PvP on Overwatch 1 with people on Overwatch 2, and then it seems like mostly buying Overwatch 2 just gives you access to the PvE stuff that they were showing off, like story missions and hero missions and stuff like that. It's kind of a confusing bit of software. I think they're gonna have to come out and kind of verify a lot of this more, or kind of as it comes closer, they'll give you more of an understanding what this is. I'm sure they've been working on Overwatch 2 for a while now, but it seems like they kind of push this out as a way to make fans happy sooner. and I don't know, it just seems weird. It's really weird. That being said, I'm excited. I'm a huge Overwatch fan. I think this is kind of a long time coming. They've really been needing to add content to Overwatch for a while now. This is really what I'm getting at. And new maps, new characters, new PvE stuff to do, I think is a great idea. Their seasonal events are always fun for me to play, and I like the idea of them kind of expanding this world that they've been building with these characters. I think that's awesome. I love it. It looks great. Yes. Here's my money. That really comes to the end part of the video here, where feel so conflicted about all this. On one hand, I love Overwatch. I love Jeff Kaplan. I'm sure that a lot of the people working at Blizzard didn't make this decision. It was probably a bunch of higher-ups, and who knows if, you know, because they have ties with Chinese companies, that had anything to do with it. It's all a very big, complicated mess, and I think a lot of the details have been lost in the story because of that. It just makes me feel really complicated about the whole thing. It sucks. It really blows. That being said, I'm really excited about these game announcements. Those trailers are insane. Then the 2 thing is confusing, but I can drop it. And I guess we're just gonna kind of have to see what happens from here on. That's really all I gotta say about BlizzCon 2019. We went over the big elephant in the room, went over most of the big announcements, at least the ones that I particularly found interesting, and yeah. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm Brandon. This was the shit you care about. Thanks for joining me. Have a kick-ass week.